What's up, every camera count? Sevenfold, Rob, Lolly. Y'all give me a one if y'all can hear me. Four Corner, what's up, man? Edwina, what's up? Press harder, there you are. Yeah, Press Harder texted me today and said, you should really restream this. Okay, I'm getting a bunch of ones. Okay, so Surprise, Arizona is where that girl, Rebecca Massey, was arrested for criticizing a city council member. And a bunch of First Amendment great legends are there at that city council meeting right now. Joe Cool is there, Michelle's Mobile Media, Tucson Toe Tag, West Side Accountability, James Freeman is there. A Pig's Daughter, I think is her name. But let me show you guys a quick recap of this girl's arrest, and then we will get right into the city council meeting. I found where they live stream the city council meeting, but all of these people that I just mentioned, they're all live right now, but they're going to be sitting in the audience real quiet. I'm going to live stream the entire city council meeting that is streamed by the city. So let's watch this real quick, and then we'll jump in there and see what's up.
A Surprise woman says her right to free speech was violated because she was arrested at a city council meeting. 12 News journalist Brenda Lipinski spoke to that woman and shares what happened.
The woman was expecting to address council for 3 minutes, but instead was escorted out in handcuffs in front of her 10-year-old daughter.
This is your warning, okay?
A warning for what?
A warning for attacking the city attorney personally.
This is all factual information.
It doesn't matter.
A heated exchange at a surprise council meeting on Tuesday.
Do not touch me. Do not put your hands on me.
Resulting in 32-year-old Rebecca Massey being detained and arrested, an action she says violated her free speech.
I have certain inalienable rights, and they were not only trampled on, but the mayor essentially weaponized the police force to shut me up that night.
She says it all happened after she spoke on an agenda item regarding the city attorney's salary.
I was trying to explain how if you're going to give him a raise based on, quote, exceptional job performance, unquote, I don't feel that he's demonstrated in any way, shape, or form by any stretch of the word an exceptional performance.
This is what you agree to when you first speaking. This is the form.
Mayor Skip Hall called that a personal attack and a violation of public hearing rules.
There are oral communications during the city council meeting may not be used to lodge charges or complaints against any employee of the city or members of the body, regardless of whether such person is identified in the presentation by the name or by any other reference that tends to identify him or her.
Issuing a warning.
Yes, I
In
think
front
it
of my
is.
10-year-old daughter, you're going to escort me
That's
out
fine.
for expressing my
She
First
can go
Amendment
with you.
rights.
And calling for an officer to escort Rebecca from the meeting. An experience she says left bruises.
That was the arm that the officer first grabbed me on after he placed his hands on my back. And so you can kind of see those, and there's more.
Impacting her 10-year-old daughter, who she says watched police take her away.
Dang.
She had her hands pressed against the glass and her face partially pressed against the glass, and she was sobbing uncontrollably. I wanted every fiber of my being to be able to be with her in that moment and just take her home.
Hoping that what happened to her
Why am I being detained? Under what charges?
doesn't happen to anyone else. I reached out to Mayor Hall and left a message. After contacting the city spokesperson, they transferred me to the Surprise Police Department, who tell us that Rebecca was cited for trespassing and faces possible charges for resisting arrest and obstructing governmental operations. Brenda Lipinski.
Unbelievable. Okay, where's Press Harder at? I got to make him a moderator. Oh, it won't let me do it, man. Man, it won't let me do it because I'm using StreamYard, Press Harder. Okay, let's see what's going on at the meeting. Stop screen. Boom.
I messed it up, but it's Shumi Run. Shamiran. Darn, I'm
Bam, we're
sorry.
in there.
To lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Madam President, if you can go ahead and lead us.
Good to see you, Lou.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I just remembered something.
When you just read, they spelled it out phonetically on my thing. That's Wade Shamiran. Makes sense. So just written it instead of making it fancy. So I just wanted to thank Shamiran for being here and leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It's an incredible thing. It takes a lot of courage, and I appreciate your commitment to our community and being a leader in that community. So I want to give this to you. It's a certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Sorry, I'm not picking. Awesome. Thank you.
So do we want the principal in the picture too? You lead the whole thing. It's the number, what number school is it in the entire state? 7. Number 7 school in the entire state of Arizona. Freedom Traditional College. Awesome. Thank you so much. Good job. Thank you.
Here we go. It's going to be good, man. Lots of legends are going to be speaking.
I don't want to. Did you want to say some words?
I was watching Freeman's live stream when he was in the hall. He's on Fake News Network live streaming, and he was just absolutely owning cops in the hallway, man. It was freaking hilarious. He had me rolling. One cop tried to get in his face, and Freeman was like, "You better get out of my damn face." All right, let's hear what they're saying.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Shamiran Tamu, and I am honored to serve as the Student Council President at Freedom Traditional Academy. It is with great pride that I share our school's achievement of being ranked number 7 among all public, private, and charter schools in the state of Arizona. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
I really hate it when the bootlickers get up there and just say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're doing such a good job. Oh, just thank you. You guys have it so hard and nobody appreciates you." It almost makes me vomit, man.
Glenn Stark with the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 285, presenting their 2024 Firefighter and Police Officer of the Year Awards. Glenn, welcome. It's good to have you here in the house.
Thank you. That was a tough act to follow, though. I think I might have found my replacement. Bob said, my name is Glenn Stark. I'm a past commander of Nicky D. Bacon VFW Post 285 here in Surprise. Brought several other members of the post with me. For those that don't know VFW stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars. We're a group of about 1.5 million American combat veterans. We just celebrated our 125th anniversary, and we've been chartered by Congress as a fraternal and patriotic organization. As combat vets, one of the things we understand is commitment to country and our community. And there's one other group of individuals that do the same, and that's our first responders. And that's why we're here today, to honor 2 of Surprise's best. At least that's what I've been told. And give them some of the recognition that they deserve, and they don't really get that much. But first, I'd like to bring up Chief SB. You want to bring up Firefighter Vasquez? We're done. Oh, wake up. Front. Greg will take care of you. Firefighter and paramedic Jonathan Vasquez, John, as he's
Oh, I
known in the department, is being.
I wanted to mute it, not pause it. That's another thing about these city council meetings. Every time I go to one, every time I watch one, before they do the public comments, they always are giving out awards. And this is only something that they do in government, man, because in the private sector, your reward is your paycheck every week and the fact that you haven't been fired. Well, in these governments, they like to spend the taxpayers' monies on awards and plaques like this. And it's just, they really love to lick each other's boots and make the public worship them. That's what they want. They want the public to thank them and worship them. And they force it down your throats. It's not a choice. Okay. Most businesses, you have a choice. If I don't like this business, I won't go and use that business anymore. And it's going to affect the business. They're going to lose a customer. They're going to lose money. And that could possibly put that business out of business, but not the government. We have to be, they force us to use their business. And if not, they kick in our doors with guns and put us in cages and put us in handcuffs and inflict violence on us. And so they make us sit through these garbage awards and they clap and cheer each other on. I can guarantee you all the people that showed up there to speak and redress their grievances aren't clapping and don't care anything about this award. That's why I paused it, man. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even care. I'm ready to hear what Joe Cool, Michelle's Mobile Media, Tucson Toe Tag, Westside Accountability, James Freeman, and the rest of the people were there. The rest of the people that are there. But I digress.
And then I'll have you guys look this way. Big smile. Perfect.
That's another thing. When they just took that picture will now be in the government-sponsored, CIA-sponsored Mockingbird newspaper. It's going to be all over the newspaper, in the local news, worshiping these people. What was the name of that CIA program where they infiltrate all the news networks? Wasn't that Mockingbird? Somebody put that in the chat.
Did you bring your wife with you? Bring her up here. Come on. You're not getting out of this.
Tempe against police violence.
Yes.
Yeah, Mockingbird. Just a guy having fun.
Officer Carlton Williams currently serves as full-time task force officer with the United States Marshal Service, focused on developing leads and locating violent felons that have either committed recent crimes or have absconded. Carlton is also assigned to his Surprise Police Department SWAT team, where he is a proven leader who carries influence and credibility with his peers and supervisors, and assisted with developing the department's first full-time SWAT contingent. Undoubtedly, Carlton's service in the United States Marine Corps, I was waiting for a hoo-ah, has contributed to his success as a leader on the SWAT team. Carlton's commitment to service was best amplified when he responded to a hostage situation near Cactus Avenue and Loop 303 on May 17, 2024. Carlton responded to the home where the female victim had escaped her captor and sought help from a nearby construction crew who called the police. The victim was being held hostage along with her baby, who was still inside the house. When officers arrived, they heard multiple rounds of gunfire from inside the home. Perimeter was set, and an immediate action team was formed. The team closed around the home as other officers located the female victim nearby. Information was relayed from the victim, and the male suspect, her ex-boyfriend, broke into the house around 3 a.m., shot the victim's dog, and assaulted the victim, and would not allow her to leave with their baby. Victim was eventually able to get away from the suspect and confirmed her baby was still inside the house with the suspect. With the confirmation of the baby inside the house, the order was given to make entry and rescue the baby. Carlton, along with other courageous officers, moved forward, forced entry into the home. Working as a team, they searched the home room by room, only until the back bedroom was left to be searched, with the understanding that the shooter was still inside the home. Carlton knew with near certainty going into the bedroom to rescue the baby would result in deadly confrontation. However, without hesitation, Carlton pushed the door open, leads the team into the room. He's immediately met with the sound of a crying baby in the doorway. Carlton stepped over the baby and placed himself provide cover for other team members who were able to pick the child up and carry it away to safety. The baby sustained several gunshot wounds, was in serious condition, and with the help of Surprise Fire Medical, was evacuated and is undergoing several surgeries. We're happy to say the baby's recovering and doing well. Officer Carlton Williams, along with other courageous officers, demonstrated bravery and unwavering commitment to the safety of others while consciously facing imminent peril. His understanding, performance, and ability to perform calmly under stressful conditions are consistent with the highest standards and conduct standards of the Surprise Police Department. He's
having a rough time. He keeps getting messed up on his words. To me, that's entertaining too, watching that. And it sucks when I'm up there and I'm trying to do my 3 minutes and I get hung up on a word or and I don't even want to read off of a piece of paper. But if I try to go straight from the heart and not use the paper, I always talk too much and go down too many long tangents, take too many left turns, and then I run out of time before I get to mention everything that I have listed. So I have to stick to the script or I don't have enough time to say everything I want to say. It kind of sucks, man, but it is what it is. I'm still learning. I'm new at it. I'll get better.
I guess it's picture time.
More pictures for the paper. Good Lord.
There we go.
So while they're taking pictures, we have an update. So all the people that are there, Joe Cool, Michelle Mobile Media, Tucson Toe Tag, West Side Accountability, James Freeman. James Freeman is streaming on his backup channel, Fake News Network. I don't know why I wrote down a pig's daughter, man. I don't know where I got that from, but I'm going to cross that out unless somebody says that that's right. Tempe Against Police Violence, Just a Guy Having Fun, and King George Wallen. I think a pig's daughter is there. I saw her in the hallway with James. Oh, I hate it when I try to click on one of y'all's comments, but then a new comment comes up and it moves all the comments. So I clicked the wrong comment. Is a pig's daughter that black girl that's been in the 1A community? Somebody give me a 1 or a 2 if that's right, because I saw her there.
Our recreation manager, Joanne Esfan, who will introduce our youth council members tonight. Joanne.
Okay.
Good evening, Joanne.
Thank you, Mr. Wingenroth. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We would like to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak this evening, and excited to introduce our 2 dais members from the Surprise Youth Council who are sitting up on the dais with you tonight. First is Ian Huskinson, and he is a sophomore at Paradise Honors.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Ian Huskinson. This is my 2nd year on the Surprise Youth Council and my 3rd time speaking on the dais. This past Saturday, SYC participated in the Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, where we help package food and hygiene products for those in need. We are always excited to take part in community events here in Surprise and do our part to support the city. We look forward.
Thank you for that update, truth be told, audits. There are so many people in this community now. It's hard to keep track of everybody.
Thank you for participating in the MLK event. It was an incredible event. It was great to see you guys out there, and thanks for your support.
And now we'll hear from Braden Aftansky. Braden is also a sophomore at Paradise Honors.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
I was in James Freeman's live stream before I started this one, and somebody said a pig's daughter. That's where I got that from. I didn't just dream it up. So somebody gave bad information in his live chat, and that's why I wrote it down here and repeated it. Thank you, Truth Be Told Audits, for clearing that up for us.
Roadways in Surprise. This event is on March 15th at 8:30 a.m. and we're excited to make a positive impact in our community. If you're interested in creating events like this and more, applications for the Surprise Youth Council will open on February 10th. We're looking for students from 8th grade to their senior year who are passionate about community engagement, developing leadership skills, and making a difference. Applications close on April 14th, and you can learn more about the process at surpriseaz.gov/SYC. Thank you. That is all I have.
I appreciate you coming down and giving that. Thank you. Madam Clerk, if you can do your report tonight.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. The first item on the agenda is consideration and action pertaining to the selection of a vice mayor in accordance with City Code Section 2.
Did you hear that, clown? Thank you for thanking us. Unbelievable, man. They probably pay these people to come in here and, oh, thank you so much, almighty great ones. Sickening, man.
To serve as vice mayor. Any council, except for the mayor, may serve as the vice mayor, even if that council member has served as vice mayor previously. The council member selected will serve as such until the member resigns from office, vacates council, or is replaced by another council member as vice mayor. For nominations, any council member may nominate any council member, including themselves. The council must vote by written ballot, which each of you have an orange sheet of paper in front of you. The person receiving the majority of the votes will then serve as the vice mayor. In the event that no person receives the majority of votes on the first round, the top two candidates will be considered for a runoff. Voting will repeat until a winner is determined.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yep.
I will open the floor to discussions and nomination.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Councilman Hastings.
Okay. Is that, do we have?
If we can ever get past all this government worshiping, these public comments are going to be good, man. This is going to be epic, man.
Aye.
Congratulations, Councilmember Hastings. Would you like to come down at the podium and take your oath, please?
The oath that he has no idea what it's even about. He's going to swear an oath to the Constitution and immediately start violating it.
Just so I have the microphone so we can hear you and me. So right here, come up here so this will hear you and Virginia can get a good picture of you. Okay, when you're ready. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the laws of the state of Arizona, and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
See, this is how they can get rid of these guys if they don't walk the line that they want them to walk. They make them swear an oath to this Constitution. They don't teach them anything about it, and then they joke behind the scenes that it's a joke and, you know, screw his rights, blah 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 blah. But if they ever piss off anybody that's higher up on the pyramid as them, they use this oath to cancel them, make them lose their job, and then they put them on the news. But make no mistake about it, it wasn't because they violated their oath. It's because they didn't back that blue line, or the line with the politicians, whatever they call that. Going against the grain. As long as you don't go against the grain, you'll never be in trouble for violating your oath. Does that make sense, y'all?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
And just for tonight, you will all remain seated in our normal seats, and then we'll change next round.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Wow, third time's the charm. here we are. In all seriousness, I want to thank my colleagues for putting their trust in me to serve as vice mayor. It's truly an honor. I also want to thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the residents of District 5, including my favorite resident, my wife, who's not here tonight, but she's awesome. I wouldn't be up here without her. And I just want to take this opportunity just to reintroduce myself to Surprise residents who, maybe live outside my district. But my name is Jack Hastings. I moved here over 20 years ago, went to high school here, lifeguard with Councilman Haney in the summers, and went to ASU, go Sun Devils, and came back here to teach civics in the Dicey Unified School District. And, as your vice mayor, I'll be hard at work supporting Mayor Sartor and the city council. We're going to be hard at work working to fully fund public safety, bring jobs, rise, and keep our taxes low while providing essential services. So I'm excited to get started. Let's get to work. All right, thank you.
Madam Clerk, you have one more item?
Yes, I do. Item 2 is consideration and action to appoint Sean Matson as chair for the Public Safety Retirement Commission Board for Police and Fire, RPS-PRS Board.
Okay. I just wanted to say a few words about Mr. Matson. He's been a huge advocate for the police in his career. He's a retired Phoenix police officer, and I think his expertise and his professionalism that he's going to bring to this board is just going to do an amazing job for both our police and fire folks. So, with that, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second. Please cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor. And Mr. Matson, are you here?
You're gonna have to email me if you want me to participate in something. I can't read your mind.
Did you memorize the previous one? Just kidding. Okay. When you're ready, raise your right hand and you're going to repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sean Matson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the
I thought he was gonna say, "I state your name."
allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and defend them against all enemies
and defend them against all enemies
whatsoever,
whatsoever,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
of the position of
Public Safety Retirement PSPRS Board.
Public Safety Retirement PSPRS Board.
Perfect. And I hereby attest
And I hereby attest
to abide by all official ordinances,
to abide by all official ordinances,
policies, and procedures
of
the City of Surprise, according to the best of my ability.
Then they make them swear an oath to uphold the policies and procedures and the ordinances that go against the Constitution. Ain't that unbelievable? I can't believe I just heard them add that part in there.
All right, Madam.
They're set up for failure immediately. So basically, as long as they don't keep their higher ups happy, they have a mountain of reasons to get rid of them once they lay down a body of work.
Cast your vote.
My buttons are being picky today. That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Madam Clerk, please read item number 10.
Item 10, consideration and action pertaining to the approval of the 2025 legislative agenda.
Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor Hastings and council members. I'm the first to officially say that to you, so I love it. Tonight, I'm here to present the 2025 legislative agenda and a very brief 2024 legislative session recap. So for those residents who may not be aware, Surprise has 3 legislative districts. LD 25, we have Senator Tim Dunn. He transferred from the House to the Senate this session. House Majority Leader Michael Carbone and Representative Nick Cupper. We also have LD 28, which represents about 3,000 residents in Surprise. we have Senate Majority Whip Frank Carroll, Representative David Livingston, and Representative Beverly Pingerelli. LD 29, which represents about 55% of Surprise, we have Senate Majority Leader Janae Shamp, House Speaker Steve Montenegro, and Representative James Taylor. Surprise is 2 congressional districts, CD8, which is new Congressman Abe Hamada, and CD9, Congressman Paul Gosar. And then we have 2 U.S. Senators, U.S. Senator Mark Kelly and new Senator Ruben Gallego. So in 2024, it was a much smoother legislative session. It only lasted 160 days versus ending on July 31st, the session before that. The legislature.
If you're coming in late because this is a live stream, I'm not repeating myself. This is for the new people. We're in Surprise, Arizona, the city council meeting, and we have a whole buttload of First Amendment legends that are here to speak. Let me back up a minute. Surprise, Arizona is where Rebecca Massey was arrested and dragged out of the meeting in front of her daughter for criticizing one of the people on the council, which is a First Amendment right. You have free speech, right to protest, right to redress your grievances. It's all a First Amendment right, and they arrested her and drug her out because of that. But let's see. Joe Cool was there, Michelle's Mobile Media, Tucson Toe Tag, Westside Accountability, James Freeman is there, Tempe Against Police Violence, Just a Guy Having Fun, and King George Wallen. That's the list that I have. Yeah. So they make them swear an oath to the Constitution, then make them swear an oath to uphold the policies and procedures. So the people that arrested Rebecca Massey were upholding the policies and procedures, but they violated the number one law in the land, the Constitution. And now they're in all kinds of trouble for following the policies and procedures that they swore an oath to. And I'm not making that up. We just heard them make this new councilman swear an oath to the policies and procedures right after he swore an oath to uphold the Constitution. You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is upside down, backwards, inverted world 101 right here.
Authority. We oppose preemption of any of the authority that you have. We feel that our residents elected you to be their voice, and you represent them at the Capitol. Transportation, that's a big one.
So don't go anywhere. It's fixing to get good. Once these public comments start, it's going to be epic.
Support regionally coordinated transportation planning. Continue to engage regional, state, and federal partners to ensure our residents have reliable and efficient transportation options in and out of our city, and oppose efforts that limit local control in transportation decision-making processes. Support federal and state funding for statewide, regional, and local transportation and infrastructure projects. Work collaboratively with our federal, state, regional, and other local delegations to secure grant funding for our most impactful infrastructure needs. And if you don't mind, Mayor, I'd like to elaborate on transportation, because we know that's a big issue with our residents, specifically in North Surprise. And unfortunately, we don't get instant gratification when we're working on policy related to transportation. So just to give residents some insights, the improvements that they're seeing at 30360, that did not happen overnight. In 2021, that started with tours. We gave tours to our state legislators. In 2022, we sought a state appropriation that led to a feasibility study. In 2023, that led to the appropriation for the near-term improvements. In 2024, we were able to retain $750,000 of those improvements, and then we received 5 additional improvements as a result. And in 2025 this year, we are seeking an appropriations to expand upon the improvements we're already making, and for to advance the design study of another traffic interchange in that area. So it does take time, but we aren't taking our finger off the pulse. It's still happening. There's just a lot of things happening behind the scenes that people don't see. Land use planning, another big one, because we see so much housing legislation. We want to protect your local authority in the land use planning.
Her mouth is drying up. Y'all heard that?
Sustainable growth, oppose efforts that impede growth management, focus on policies that ensure growth pays for itself, and maintain consistency between local code and state law. Public safety. preserve and enhance the ability of local government to strategically plan for and respond.
We had a foot of snow here in Texas too, man, but it started melting a few hours ago over here.
Individual rights. Economic development. Support efforts that maintain and enhance our economic.
Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of snow, but it's starting to melt.
Economic development tools, which we're seeking to do this session with another tool called tax increment financing, which Arizona doesn't use. Protect local authority on development projects and support incentives and other mechanisms that would contribute to high quality private sector growth and job creation. Water and sustainability, another big one. Collaborate with regional and local partners to support legislation that encourages practical water efficiency and conservation measures. Protect surface water and uphold the principles of the Groundwater Management Act.
If I had it to do over again, I would have waited till all this was done before I started the live, but I didn't know. I really didn't know.
Lastly, protect the mission of Luke Air Force Base. Advocate for long-term mission and viability of Luke Air Force Base through local and regional community support, as well as any level of advocacy to protect the base. That concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Councilman Melton.
Thanks. Thank you, Mayor. The legislature.
No thanks, truth be told, audits. I'm heterosexual. I could hook you up with Joseph Lowry, though. He's been sending me some things that are kind of related to spooning with men.
And keeping that relationship and having them understand the needs that we have surprise need for that 303. So thank you very much. My one question is, we have a new legislator coming in. We have our state senator having a new role, and our other representative having a new role as speaker. And you've been able to have conversations with them, and they are apprised of the city's surprise interest in water rights. Do you think they are well educated in that, or they show interest in that?
Absolutely. And it's constantly evolving. And so when you look at like last year, for example, and we looked at NRU, which is Natural Resources and Energy Committee. So we had Senator Frank Carroll that was on that, and Senator Sina Kerr. So they were our biggest advocates because they were on those committees. So we do continually update them, and we're getting more and more involved. Mike Belay's been instrumental with that. So that's the plan, is to continue making sure that they're aware of the situation and where we stand on bills.
Jody, I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Haney.
Thank you, Mayor. Jody, first, just to echo what was already said, is you do such an incredible job. That down at the Capitol, it moves so quickly, and I love politics and love policy, and I try to keep up with it, and everything that I think is breaking news, you already knew about it, and there's something else that's already coming down the pipeline. And so I obviously represent District 1 Northwest area. It's large geographically. It has complex challenges with the fact that we have obviously major arterial roadways, but we're also intersected by Grand Avenue, Loop 303, state-controlled roadways, which also presents some complex challenges as we navigate those infrastructure issues. And your relationships down at the Capitol, your ability to stay engaged with that area and really convey the frustration and the pain that we're feeling down to our legislators is something that I'm incredibly grateful for. We have a great opportunity as the city council, the lowest part of government, to really focus on those kitchen table issues, the stuff that folks talk about when they're sitting down with their family. It's traffic, it's public safety, it's this growth is happening all around me. What are we doing to manage that growth? Folks have families, they have practices, jobs, so they can't be down at the Capitol. Someone like me who tries to stay engaged still is relying on you to really keep me updated. And so we are so lucky to have a fierce advocate down the Capitol. When I first took office a few years ago, and I appreciate you kind of showing the history of the best way to see where we're going is to see where we've been. And I said, we're going to focus on the 2As. And in the past, it was, hey, this is a state controlled roadway. There's a lot of growth. This is all happening. We just have to grim and bear it. And myself, along with our city manager, you and the incredible staff and my colleagues up here, we said, no, like we're going to do something more than that. And so we decided to focus on the 2As for the roadways that aren't under our control, which are those major roadways I mentioned.
Yeah, we had 150 people in here until this guy started freaking yapping. Now it's down to 108. I'm telling y'all, it's going to be worth the wait when Freeman and all these other legends, Joe Cool, Tucson Toe Tag, Michelle's Mobile Media, Tempe Against Police Violence, King George Wallen, just a guy having fun. Man, this guy can talk forever.
But to not only identify these problems and these challenges we're facing, but also, hey, here's some solutions and how do we secure that funding and that planning? And we're seeing that with the major improvements. And I'm not going to bore my colleagues, but there's so many improvements that we've accomplished that have really made a big impact in that area. And then also taking action on those roadways that are under our control. But that doesn't happen without you being able to help us leverage those relationships to pass that legislation to secure that funding so we can keep heading in the right direction. So we made a lot of progress on those short-term improvements. I always tell folks this isn't a Band-Aid. It's just how can we provide relief in the interim while we pursue those long-term solutions. And I look forward to working with you not only this session as well as Mayor and the rest of the council as we continue to push forward on those objectives that we have for this legislative session, but also how can we identify other opportunities for us to improve the quality of life of residents. But seriously, thank you so much for the work you do. You are invaluable down there, and the City of Surprise is extremely lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Greenberg.
Thank you, Mayor. Jody, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon. You know how good you are. We all know how good you are. You mentioned TIFs for like 1 second and being from Illinois. Obviously, I know what those are, but I'm guessing a lot of people don't know what they are. And so they don't think they're tagged image file formats for like JPEGs. Can you, in 60 seconds, explain to everybody what a tax increment financing is and how it would relate here? Because normally those are geographically designated to like a blighted area or something, and how would it apply to Surprise?
Well, it would provide an incentive for businesses to move here where they're able to effectively finance. Most of the time it's the infrastructure. I think I'm correct, right? I'm not a TIF expert. That's Janine.
Oh,
sorry.
Is she?
Yeah. It's actually not our legislation. It's the city of Tempe's legislation that we're supporting. So we'll get more businesses here because we're losing a lot of businesses to Texas and Nevada because they're able to utilize TIF as a tool for these businesses to come here where we're not able to use that. Did that sufficiently answer your?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into all the details of it, but yeah, normally we don't seem to be having that much of a problem attracting things. So I guess I'd want to just know a little bit more about what that's going to cost us in the long run. But that's a future discussion that we can have if they're just starting to talk about it, because Arizona obviously does not do tax increment financing.
We don't. And Councilman Greenberg, the City of Surprise had a resolution that became a bill years and years ago. I think it was 2017, and it was known as EDRA, which was the Economic Development Reimbursement Authority, very similar to what TIF is. And we never had any momentum at the legislature for that. We lost the sponsor there. So I don't anticipate, given this legislative composition, that that's going to be changing this session.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Vice Mayor Hastings.
It's going to take some getting used to. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Jody. I mean, you do such a great job. I mean, you have to manage.
Oh, God.
I mean, how many legislators are there? Like 30 plus 6, like 90 legislators, different personalities, different political parties. I mean,
now we got to listen to this guy talk about how great they all are. This is just unbearable, man.
Or, surprise.
I see a bunch of new people just came in. We're going to have public comments here in a minute. A bunch of First Amendment legends are at this meeting. They're going to be speaking. Joe Cool, Michelle's Mobile Media, Tucson Toe Tag, West Side Accountability, James Freeman, Tempe Against Police Violence, just a guy having fun. King George Wallen. That's what we're waiting on. To all you new people that just came in.
Laws have come up, and it's been a battle every year. Do you anticipate that being forefront again?
Yes, sir. So there's already two bills. Well, there's several housing bills that have already been dropped. So there's a bill, and forgive me because I don't have the bill numbers with me, but one is lovingly referred to as the YIGB bill, which is yes in God's backyard. So it's effectively by right zoning on land owned by religious institutions. So it's a way to build higher density multifamily on religious owned land. So that's one of the bills that has been dropped. And then the other one is effectively the same exact starter home bill that was vetoed last year by Governor Hobbs, which is another by right zoning type bill. So the league formed a stakeholder group with several of our larger cities. We take a proactive role on that, with many thanks to Lloyd and Tiffany, where we're trying to take a proactive approach with our legislators rather than a reactive approach with some of the terrible housing legislation that we've seen. So we're hoping that that'll gain a little bit more momentum at the Capitol this year. Maybe that would be something that can help address the housing issue, but also maintain your local control and responsible growth.
Okay, because I appreciate it, because every year there's people in the legislature that think they know this area better than we do, that have never even been here. So I appreciate everything, because we're always complaining to you to figure it out. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Jody, I just wanted to say thanks as well. Echo my colleagues up here. As soon as I got elected, I started meeting with other elected officials, and you played a big part of that. And every single one of them sung your praise. Every other government agency like MAG, I met with them, they sung your praise.
If all these politicians were as nice to the public when they come in and speak and when they say things, if they were as nice to the public as they are to each other, that would solve almost all the problems, man, as far as bridging the gap between the public and the government. I mean, good Lord, if they respected us as much as they did each other, that would go a long way.
He's feeling great.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please read item 11.
Presentation and discussion pertaining to FY 2024 and FY 2025 City Auditor Department report. And each of you should have a presentation copy at your spaces.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor and council members. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Today, I have two audit reports that I'm going to present to you. These reports are from areas which we've never audited before. This is our first time reviewing these two areas. The first one is going to be the travel reimbursement audit report. Our primary goal here was to determine whether the city had adequate controls and governance processes over the city's reimbursement process. For the areas that we reviewed a year and a half worth of activity. The average amount of travel reimbursement for employees was about $11,000 per month. The AP Division of Finance is the primary oversight for the reimbursement of travel reimbursement processes. We examined, there were 707 transactions. We audited approximately 10% of those transactions. And out of that, we determined that we had some strong areas of opportunities that we recommended, which included ensuring that the claim reimbursements were reimbursed for the correct amount, and there was an independent verification of those transactions. We also recommended a review of the travel policy to update some of those policies to ensure that management's expectations were being met. And in addition to that, to ensure that the travel reimbursement claims have proper final approval. There were a total of 6 audit recommendations that we made. They were all concurred with by the departments, and management action plans have been implemented. The next area that we reviewed is the City Court Compliance Assistance Program audit. This was our first time, again, in this particular area. We wanted to determine if our CAP program, our processes and procedures were in compliance with the CAP Court Handbook and the Arizona Revised Statutes. Now, during the background, we determined that the City Court of Surprise has implemented the CAP program back in 2019. Since then, the court has processed over $7 million in outstanding tax interceptions and $371.5 million in collections. During our audit, we identified some opportunities for improvements. Our first opportunity of improvement was related to how personal identifiable information is used in training materials. We recommend that it be removed from training materials. We also recommend that they work with the Arizona Supreme Court and the Administration Office of Courts to resolve an issue that they have with their user access report. And the final recommendation was related to training.
Yeah, I was watching Freeman live before I started this. He was live on his backup channel, Fake News Network, and he was just, man, the way he handles these tyrants, and you know, everybody knows this, man. He is just a legend at it, man. I mean, he is just so funny and just so good at destroying these guys. And yeah, it was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I'm trying to figure out why Reluctant Prophet isn't with this group today. They were in Tucson earlier in the day. I meant to call them earlier, but something happened and I got hung up.
Recept means.
So the client will make a payment arrangement with the court to cover the fines that they cannot pay for. If that payment plan they don't stick with that payment plan, the court has the option to go and collect any taxes that they are refunds that they may get. Then the court can in session take those refunds to cover those fees, those fines.
Okay. I just want to say thank you for what you do with our city. I know there's a lot of residents probably don't know that you're an appointed official, completely independent of the city, and you do your audits completely independently. Is that right?
Correct.
And so I think it's important that we have you and your role and your expertise to make sure that, you know, we're doing the things in the city right as far as policies and procedures. So I know it's not an easy job when the auditor comes around, people, their blood pressure goes up. But I think for the city, it's an opportunity to learn and grow and learn how to do things better. So I really appreciate your role in keeping the city honest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Okay.
He said thank you basically 4 times in those couple of sentences. He just said it in different ways.
Consideration and action pertaining to the authorization of the assignment of the Circle City Water Company, LLC, Central Arizona Project Municipal and Industrial Water Entitlement to the City of Surprise, thereby terminating the Circle City Water Company, LLC, Central Arizona Project Water Service Subcontract. Resolution number 2025-12.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. As the clerk mentioned, this item and the next item.
Yeah, Reluctant Prophet, he runs a business and he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's pro se on a couple of lawsuits, so he is very busy, so that makes sense. I just kind of thought I would see him with the rest of this crew today, and he has 2 different properties that are 5 hours apart, and so sometimes he has to go up north to maintain one, and so yeah, that makes sense.
Specifically, so the acquisition of Circle City Water Company is not the acquisition of Circle City. This is
so what they're doing right now. This is kind of a strategy. They're hoping that if they drag this out, that people will leave and yeah, not want to wait. Delay is what they're doing right now.
the map on the right there identifies the water providers that exist within the city's municipal planning boundaries. See if I can show you here. So this area right here is where Circle City is. That's reflective of this triangle. And this area up here will also be the city's water service area once the condemnation is complete. Circle City currently uses about 23 million gallons per year. To put that into context, the City of Surprise water service area currently uses that much water.
I would love to see what the agenda is. Can any of the moderators figure it out? How much longer we have to wait?
Our growing population and our growing economy. And so with the acquisition comes 3,932 acre feet of Colorado River water, which necessitates the need to modify those CAP contracts. So here's a quick timeline. As I mentioned, we started this effort in 2009. One of the high points of this was in 2018. Our voters approved by overwhelming support to acquire Circle City Water Company. It was over 80% approval. This has gone on for quite some time because it has really, literally touched every level of the Arizona court system. And it has required the approvals of many regulatory agencies that are in the water business.
So Freeman is live right now. He's on his backup channel, Fake News Network.
It's kind of summed up, you know, what we've been working on and why we haven't been talking about it publicly for a long time. Internally within the department and with many of our other department partners, we've been preparing operationally to take this over. And one of the biggest preparation points has been financial preparation. So in 2018, when we did the vote to the public, we made a promise that we would not use ratepayer money or taxpayer money for this acquisition. And off to the right there, that white box there identifies the questions within the pamphlet for voters. But in 2018, we included the Circle City acquisition within our infrastructure improvement plan that drives our development impact fees. So with our water resource impact fee, we're able to complete the purchase of the $15 million without any sort of creative financing or doing anything else. So although we would have liked to close on this much sooner, this time has allowed us to save up and have the cash necessary within that P project there, 71260. From an ongoing basis, the operations and maintenance is estimated to be about $72,000 per year. And the carrying cost or the ownership cost associated with the Central Arizona Project Water is going to be about $1.4 million per year. So back to operational preparedness, in 2022, we conducted a sanitary survey. That's really a look at all of the infrastructure within Circle City Water Company to ensure that we wouldn't be taking over.
I said Freeman's live on his backup channel, and I lost like 20 people all at once. I don't blame y'all. This is boring, man. But when they do start the public comments, we're going to have the best view right here. It's going to be better than anybody sitting in the bleachers. And we've been live almost an hour, and they're still worshiping each other. It can't be too much longer, man.
Continue the way they are by July 1st. So next steps, we're going to be coming back to this council in a couple of meetings to talk about rate setting. The Circle City Water Company has not had a rate adjustment since 1988, and we're going to be very sensitive to that. So we'll be coming back with some different recommendations and options. There may be a need to update the stipulated condemnation agreement that we have with Circle City Water Company, but we're trying to avoid that. We'll be back to this council in May for our typical water resources update. That's the one where we usually bring our partners at Central Arizona Project. And again, we're hoping to commence operation and have everything behind us by July 1st of this year. So again, getting back to the items that we're taking action on tonight, the first one that the clerk read is associated with the assignment and termination of Circle City's current contract with Central Arizona Project. So that agreement is just simply stating that this volume of water is going to be going to Surprise. And then the next.
Okay, y'all, I was thinking about switching over to Freeman's live because somebody said he was in the hallway clowning, but he's just sitting. He's sitting in there and his camera's pointed at the same thing we're watching right now. So there's no point in me switching to his live. Actually, this is a better shot. See, I've got it pulled up on my phone right there. He's aiming at the TV right there. They're sitting there watching just like we are, y'all.
Hold on one second. Councilman Judd.
Except we get close-ups of all these politicians' faces.
Long road.
Freeman's in the hallway because he refused to let them search him. So he might not even go in there because I was watching his live before I started my live, and he wasn't going inside because they wanted to, he wasn't down with the whole wanding. And so I don't know what's going on. He did sign in, though, to speak. I watched him fill out the paper to speak. Let's proceed.
Other problems with their water? What kind of problems are we inheriting? Not specific kind of problems we're inheriting, but what's it going to cost to get these guys up so that we can stay in compliance, maybe automate some things?
Sure. So this capital project, P71530, we've budgeted about $900,000. The thing that the ACC consistently hears the ACC regulate Circle City Water Company today is just the lack of redundancy. So during monsoon season, they lose power, their well goes down, their booster pumps go down. And so we immediately want to take better care of these folks, even though they're not our residents technically, they're going to be our customers, and really ensuring that the water is safe. So if we're going to be the provider, we want to make sure that we're proud of the brand that we're serving.
And I mean, 40 years, 30 some odd years, almost 40 years since the rate change. I mean, how steep are we looking to get those guys caught up? I mean, because is it going to be painful for them?
Yeah. So candidly, if we were to bring the Circle City ratepayers directly up to what the City of Surprise ratepayers are paying, it'd be about a 42% increase monthly. And so that's why we're being sensitive and working with Andrea and her team to figure out a strategy to bring them up to, over time. So that's really the intent.
Okay, so slow increments as we improve the service, and hopefully they stop seeing outages, and appreciate having to spend a couple extra dollars a month. We're talking probably.
Exactly.
Whatever works out to be $5-10 a month, but always have water and always have clean water, safe water. Exactly. All right, thank you, Mike.
And Mr. Bluey.
That's a joke. You heard him say clean, safe water. I bet none of them drink it. Freaking liars.
We've got to have some time associated with establishing rates. So the intent right now is to come back.
Somebody should go out in the hallway right now and fill up a cup from the water fountain or the sink in the bathroom, and during their public comment, ask them to drink it, since they just said it's clean and safe water.
You guys have been following this for so many years. I'm so excited that I'm here on City Council. I finally get to vote on this. It's a great acquisition, and throughout this entire episode, it's the City of Surprise, and you, Mr. Boulay, have been class acts, sensitive to the Circle City ratepayers. You've been sensitive and understanding to the litigators. And now that we're all said and done, I'm really proud of Surprise and how we got through here, how we planned smart. We carried it. We had a long struggle to get here, and we were class acts the entire way. And I really appreciate your professionalism and leadership, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. So it's an interesting dynamic, right? I mean, we're taking over this area of water, but we're not annexing the residents, which is definitely, I mean, not something I've heard of us doing before. I'm definitely supportive of it. I think this is a good move for the city. Sorry.
Wasn't it that movie Aaron Brockovich where they filled up a glass of tap water and told those guys to drink it because they kept saying it was safe? Yeah, that's what they should do here.
Raise the rates, then Surprise taxpayers would be subsidizing those repairs that need to happen. So I think it's important that that we're reasonable and that we're fair, because there isn't really a lot of accountability for them, right? Because like here, if we make a bad decision or we raise something, like we're held accountable to elections. This is a little different. So we definitely want to be reasonable, but at the same time, I think that those repairs and upkeep that has to happen needs to pay for itself. And that's the plan, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Boulay, I had a couple of questions. We talk about our water portfolio and long term. What does this acquisition mean in that sense? What does it mean for the City of Surprise and our water portfolio into the future?
So from a Colorado River supply perspective, this acquisition or contract modification represents a 40% increase to Colorado River water, and then a 20% increase across our entire.
So they get the clean water out of the Colorado River. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say 100% clean, but they don't have no chemicals in it. And then they add all the fluoride and chlorine and all the other crap. Just unreal, man.
We're fortunate to have good partners in Circle City Water Company that they've held strong to that number.
I would drink the water straight from the Colorado River. I definitely wouldn't drink it after it went through their water plant and pumped into your house. Hell no. I'll take my chances with the river water and the little microscopic organisms that are living in it. I'll take the diarrhea over the dementia and Alzheimer's disease from the fluoride. Yeah.
Kind of piggyback on what Councilman Melton said, but just your leadership and expertise in leading the our water resource management department is just incredible, and our city is in a great position because of you and your entire team. So I just want to say thank you. This is officially for Surprise.
Thank you.
All right, hearing our
I
scene.
move to approve resolution 2025-12.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
It's almost like a cult, man. This is what cults do. They steadily are, oh, you're so great. Thank you so much. You're so wonderful. Oh, you're just so great. Oh, and just absolutely amazing. You just bent over backwards. They sound like a cult, man. This is what cults do, is they just worship each other and tell each other how great they are. But if you're not in their cult, in their group, you can't do nothing right. They won't never say anything positive to you. And every time you turn your back, they're sticking right in your back. That's what this reminds me of, y'all.
Cast your vote.
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They better thank James Freeman after he speaks. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to tell him how wonderful and excellent he is and how he's doing a wonderful service to the world by showing all the corruption in the government. Yeah, they're definitely going to thank Freeman.
Approximately 27 acres of property located near 185th Avenue and Deer Valley Road. Actually, maybe.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How you doing tonight?
Good evening, Chief. Good.
I'm coming before you again. I know we have a few new members on the council. I'm not going to go through the entire presentation we have on the 3rd, but I do have a few highlights. Before I get to that, though, I wanted to discuss with you what we're here to talk about tonight. As you can see here on the 3rd, this body did approve us to move forward to engage in a purchase contract for approximately 30 acres of land up north. Tonight, we're before you to have an amendment approved. This amendment is going to move the close of escrow up from the June timeframe to February the 7th. It's going to remove an easement that was an issue that we were discussing with legal at length about. So that's good news for us. And it also updates the signer to the new mayor, Mayor Sartor. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. I'll give you a few of the highlights here. Again, this is the overall site, 30 acres, 5 acres right out of the gate. We're going to dedicate to build Fire Station 310. We hope to be in design on that here in the next, we'll call it 10 to 12 months. Public Safety Master Plan, we're also engaging in that as we speak, working with procurement this week as a matter of.
It does look like Freeman's in the hallway right now. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm comfortable with restreaming his stream, man. I mean, I know I'm allowed to as far as fair use and all that stuff goes, but I don't know, man. I don't like doing that unless somebody asks me to restream their stream.
To get it all done. So this is just the first step in that. Important to note that Andrea would be upset with me if I didn't point this out, but a lot of these future projects are not currently funded. That's the stuff we're going to be working on in the coming years to figure out how we're going to phase that in. Again, Fire Station 310 is a bond-funded project. There's your schedule designed to begin in 26, FY26, construction to start 27, and hopefully kind of turning the lights on in there in that building in FY28. That station there will serve that Copper Canyon North, and then hopefully when Deer Valley connects in the future, in future years out, that will also help us get to the areas far west Surprise. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Please.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, I know we talked earlier just with legislative priorities and smart growth, proactive planning, and public safety. And
oh, man, this is the guy that can talk for hours.
In South Surprise, if you live not in District 1, but let's say in a district more south of that, how would an addition to the system, station into this system impact their fire station in their neighborhood?
Yeah, Councilman Haney.
I'm getting
apologize, Vice.
Let's see what Freeman's doing real quick, y'all.
Thanks for the super chat, Bipolar Solar Bear. I was told to donate. Well, thanks, Bipolar Solar Bear. No, it's changed now. It's BIP Solar Bear. Yeah. It's dwindling down. There's only 385 watching now. It's got boring. There's 700 people watching when he got. Yeah. There's.
Fucking doctors say something tomorrow about that shit, dude.
It's
You guys gonna have a meeting on that shit now, or
Was I shushing him there?
I don't know what?
I was like, what is all that shushing? That guy's annoying. Oh, that's me. We're almost to public comment.
Yeah, but truthfully, man.
There ain't nothing going on out there, man. I got to make sure. There we go.
Funding to purchase the second ladder truck for the city, which is a huge enhancement for us.
Okay, so there'll be an all hazards unit responding out of there with
Definitely
2 EMTs, 2 paramedics.
You guys give me a 1 if y'all can see this motor mouth again. I'll make sure I did my transition right. Y'all see the city council meeting? Give me a 1.
Directions with maybe a little more extended response time. So this will really positively impact those residents as far as service delivery goes.
Yes, sir, definitely. The other thing to point out, as we've talked about, I think a little bit with you guys, we have 2 kind of models: neighborhood station,
I'm getting better with this StreamYard, man. But if one wrong move, man, and it sucks when you're live, because if you mess up, it's like, holy crap, I'm live and I just made a mistake. You got all these people watching, so I'm kind of walking on eggshells, man. And it's embarrassing when you make mistakes live. And people can always use it later on to try to make fun of you. So we're just going to hang out until they start the public comments. It shouldn't be long now, man. We're already at 1 hour and 15 minutes. Everybody in Freeman's chat was saying it's fixing to start. Just be patient. It's going to be good.
The station's built, and now we're playing catch up with the resources and manpower.
That's
We're
right.
going to be ready to go.
As a matter of fact, we're going to start hiring for that fire station here this summer.
Okay.
That's our goal. Is we go in phases. We try to hire in smaller groups. So it's the 3-year buildup to open in the door. That's exactly what we did for the fire station in Councilman Duffy's area, and it worked really well. It's a partnership again with finance and budget, and we hope to continue to do that.
And Chief, when you say you're hiring, what's the benefits of starting to hire now, even though the station's not built?
Yeah, again, great question. So it probably takes Chief Worrell back there. I got all the chiefs here tonight. Chief Worrell.
I'm going to tell you what, dude. It takes balls to get up here and give a public comment during these city council meetings. I mean, it takes balls to record cops. It takes balls to do First Amendment audits. But when you know all day long that you're going to be called up to that podium and you got 3 minutes and the whole world's watching, that is a lot of pressure, man. And then after you sign up to speak and you're sitting there waiting for them to call your name, and then you got all this garbage going on, and through this whole hour of these people worshiping each other, you're thinking, okay, man, they're going to call. The anxiety, man, I'm telling you, it's worse than walking up to a traffic stop recording. I've probably done 8 or 9 or 10 public comments by now, and the anxiety leading up to it, sometimes it's a little overwhelming sometimes, man. So anybody that signs up and gets up there and does it, that takes balls, and I give props to everyone. It's definitely, that public speaking, man, it's weird, man. The anxiety and it's because you're battling your own thoughts is what it is, man. You've got the thoughts of embarrassing yourself. You got the thoughts of being out in front of all those people. You're on the internet. You don't want to stutter or you're already nervous thinking about it. So then you think, oh man, well, when they call my name, I'm going to be way more nervous. And then that gives you more anxiety. I mean, the anxiety just keeps snowballing and snowballing and snowballing up until the point where they call your name. And then that's even a lot of pressure. But when you get done, when your 3 minutes is done and you did what you set out to do and you did what you set out to say, that's a great feeling of relief and accomplishment after that. So I would recommend everybody get to these city council meetings, redress your grievances every time. I mean, if you don't even have to you don't even have to fill up the whole 3 minutes. Get up there and just say one thing, one sentence, 30 seconds.
He would be able to tell you this in the back, but for a year and a half, he's been working on developing our own medic program here so that Surprise Fire can train its own paramedics, because it is tough to rely on the community colleges or the city of Phoenix, for example. Their schedules change. Sometimes it doesn't line up with us. So in order for us to build our own resource and take care of our community here, we're working really hard to get that done. I thought it would be easier to do, and it's a little more challenging, but we're working through it.
Thank you, Chief. I appreciate the proactiveness. I get this question quite a bit from residents.
You just got to keep signing up, man, and going up there every week.
In a timely fashion.
You have to face your fears. I still don't like it, but I still do it.
Staffing a fire truck. I can tell you, my family didn't even realize that in the valley here, each fire truck has 2 EMTs and 2 paramedics. So if your heart stops, you're going to get a fire truck with folks that are able to do those interventions to hopefully save your life. And so I really appreciate the proactive planning, not only with the station, but also making sure that the station's only as good as the people in it. And so making sure we're having some highly trained individuals that are ready to respond to those neighborhoods when that station's up and running. So I'm really excited about this. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Hastings.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it seems like Councilman Haney is pretty up to speed with this type of information. I don't know how, maybe he could,
Please stop sucking each other off and let's just get to the freaking public comments, please.
One of my residents, or the residents that I represent, asked me like, well, why should I vote for this? This is all like no surprise. And we have these situations, too, when schools go out and, the growth right now is happening in Northwest Surprise. And I just told him, look, it's nice. Like, I get it. Like, we have a fire station right across from Valley Vista on Greenway and Parkview, but you want that fire truck to stay nearby, because with the automatic aid.
If you're just coming in, this is the city council meeting at Surprise, Arizona. Surprise, Arizona is where Rebecca Massey was arrested and drugged out of the city council meeting in front of her daughter for criticizing one of these sacred, most high city council people. They are to be worshiped and not criticized. And as you can see, they have laid down the work of how they want everybody to treat them. For the last hour, all we heard is them worship each other and tell each other how great they are. And they expect it to be that way when the public speaks. And Rebecca Massey did not go up there and kiss their ass. She was criticizing them, and they drug her out of there. And now she is, the charges have been dropped. She has filed a lawsuit. I think the Institute for Justice took her case. And tonight we have a plethora, an all-star lineup at this city council meeting waiting to speak. And the list I have is Joe Cool, Michelle's Mobile Media, Tucson Toe Tag, West Side Accountability, Mr. James Freeman, Tempe Against Police Violence, Just a Guy Having Fun, and King George Wallen. And I'm sure there's a lot more people there that are going to give banger public comments, but these are the only people that we know of that are there that have YouTube channels. So that's what we're waiting on. It's going to be epic. And yeah.
Awesome. Chief, this is strategic. It's long-term. It's, going in the places that we're growing north and west. This is huge. So thank you for your leadership on this and your entire team, the entire city of Surprise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Every time I mute it and talk and then I unmute it, it's immediately thank you. You're just so great. Thank you. Oh, it's just unbelievable, man.
Near 185th Avenue and Deer Valley Road.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote. It was Councilman Judd that did the second.
I thought I said Tucson police suck. Oh, you know what I did? I wrote down Tucson toe tag twice. Thank you, Brandon Mitchell, for that.
To address the council on non-agenda items.
Yes, Mayor, I have 6 requests to speak. As I call you up, please remember to state your name and the city that you live in when you get to the podium. First, I have.
That's a First Amendment violation.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is James Ellis. I live in Surprise off of Waddell on 175th Avenue. I'm going to bring up a couple of items that might be able to be put on agenda in the future. The fire chief spoke.
That's a First Amendment violation and a Fourth Amendment violation by having to say your name. No, I take that back. That's a Fourth Amendment violation. You have the right to be secure in your papers, your name, and they are telling these people they have to give their name and address to speak. This guy's just kissing their butt. I'm not going to mute it when anybody else is up there, y'all.
Responses to the reservation casino that's outside our city limits. Is it a verbal agreement or a written agreement? If we do, how much is the city being compensated by the reservation for these public safety services, if any? Can the city council make this public regarding our police and fire service responses and any potential contracts between the two parties? Just recently, I had noticed Surprise police units in and around the casino since its grand opening last month, along with an all-hazards Surprise fire department unit just days ago responding to a vehicle accident just outside the casino property. My concern is response times will increase above the NFPA standards of 5 minutes and 20 seconds in the southern parts of our city under the automatic aid agreement, even with the new Fire Station 309 going into service later this year. As we see future expansion of the Desert Diamond White Tanks Casino with a hotel and conference center and continuing annexation of the city of Glendale to our southern border will indeed increase our call demand for fire responses. That's why I'm suggesting funding for a medical response unit, an MR unit they call it. It's a full ALS staffing unit that can help lower response times in the southern parts of the city and keeping all hazard response units responding more within our city limits instead. An MR unit is staffed by 4 firefighters with 2 being paramedics, and they can respond to any medical emergency, including cardiac arrest to trauma calls. It can also be utilized for additional manpower on any fire ground call, and the cost for the apparatus of this type is a fraction of the cost of a traditional fire engine. This could respond to the casino and surrounding area.
So he's freaking out, man, up there. His anxiety and everything. Y'all heard him when he said, excuse me. He's really nervous, but hey, you got to get up there and do your public comment, man. You're going to be nervous. That's natural.
Money for both the fire and police department. So basically, in summary, I do support, fire responses to the casino. As long as it doesn't affect our city residents, and if we can get the funding through the casino to pay for that, I'm all for it. So thank you.
Here we go.
Mr. Ringroth, can you get with Mr. Ellis and answer some of his questions, please?
Yes, Mayor. In fact, Chief Espy's ready to do that right now, and he has that information.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I have Paula Anderson.
Hi, I'm Paula Anderson, and I as a woman by myself, I don't want to give my
streets. That's a little spooky. But anyhow, a while ago, I did pose an online question about specific language used in our public meeting rules. And I'm here today to urge some corrective language. Because as of 3:30 today, the wording of those rules hasn't been updated. I know this isn't as important as, fire safety and water, but it is important. I don't want to see any more lawsuits and bad publicity coming down. So anyhow, hopefully I won't bore you all. Quick, super fast history lesson. Jump back 100 years. Basically, there is a Supreme Court ruling in 1925. It's Gitlow versus New York. State law must be consistent with the First Amendment and not violate freedom of speech. And it basically says Congress shall make no rule that actually applies to all levels of government, not just federal, state, boils down to all of us. Then moving, fast forwarding to 1971, it's really the often quoted by certain people, the Supreme Court case that Cohen versus California. You might have heard that or read some of that on some of those Facebook posts. That basically says speech, even profane, offensive speech, guess what? It's protected. Okay. Fast forward another few years to 1973. This is the case of Miller versus California. To restrict speech, there are some things we can restrict. One of those things is being obscene, but to be obscene speech, there are very, very narrow criteria. And I can share those later if anyone wants those. So as of 3:30 today, our public meeting rules still say, blah, 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 Section 5, a civil decorum will be expected of all speakers, and blah, blah, blah. Prohibited disruptive behavior includes, but is not limited to threats, profanity, words likely to provoke immediate combat, blah, blah, blah. You got to change that. Okay, words matter. Okay, somebody's going to come up here and say a profane word. And if you guys get mad or do something or call a police chief, I would rather see our money go towards fire and more water instead of paying off lawsuits. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah.
Next, I have John Goodnow.
They didn't thank her.
Evening. Some new faces. It's refreshing. So I came here tonight a little late. I wanted to come after the meeting last time, and I did. But I got to tell you guys, doing government's not that hard, right? You got to honor your oath and not be a dick. I mean, that's really the basic rules of government. And I saw some good change after what happened to Rebecca Massey. I really did. It was some good new mayor, new city attorney coming in. So we got some good things. And then all of a sudden a video leaked from the chief of police, right? And I've got it queued up here, and I'm not going to quote him. I'd rather just use his own words. But essentially what the chief is saying is we're all crazy.
Moment here to get this out real quick. You know, what happened last week in a council meeting resulted in what I think everybody in the world is calling an illegal arrest and a violation of someone's First Amendment rights. That's clearly not what we're about, and that is not what happened.
That's literally what happened, right? So what the chief just told us was that the entire world was wrong. What we witnessed with our lying eyes was wrong. I'm a root cause guy. My son was threatened to be shot and killed here in the state of Arizona in 2019. School didn't say anything to the police or the parents. I took action. I got the law here changed, right? 15,541 and 330,312, right? Now, I got it mandated where the schools have to say something if there's a threat of violence in schools. So I have a challenge to you guys. How about we make constitutional training mandatory for the police? The police aren't going to do it themselves. So the only way that that's going to happen is it's going to come from this council. And this council is going to have to mandate that the police officers who serve the public understand the Constitution that they took an oath to serve. We saw 2 oaths being taken here. What are the very first things that you swear that oath to? It's the Constitution. What's the very first law in the Constitution? It's the First Amendment. And if every one of your police officers can't recall the 5 protections codified in the First Amendment right off the top of their head, what are they doing with the badge and gun? If they don't know what our freedoms are, how in the world can they protect them? And the chief put that on full display when he leaked the video to the world that we're all wrong and we didn't see what we saw. Take care of it, City Council. I challenge you.
Thank you.
This next form does not have a last name, so Michelle.
Michelle's Mobile Media.
Good evening, infidels and fellow Constitution lovers. I was going to read my statement today, but I accidentally left it out where people could read it. And I felt that it was no longer a secure statement to read to you guys. So today we're going to talk about the Constitution, the First Amendment specifically. Do you guys know there's 5 elements to the Constitution? Freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, freedom to redress. Do you guys know any of the other ones? All right. So freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, freedom of press, freedom to redress our government, and there's one more. Freedom of religion. Oh, yes. Well, you guys don't have to ask to go to church, do you? I wouldn't ask to go to church because that's my First Amendment right? Well, so is free speech. So is free press. So I'm going to sing a song for you guys. I hope you like it. I've been singing it for about 20 years. Fuck shit, fuck, fuck shit, fuck shit, fuck. Yes, fuck shit, fuck, woohoo! Fuck shit, fuck. So now I see that you guys finally respect the First Amendment. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
I believe this first name is Grande.
There we go.
Johnson.
Grande Johnson. Good evening, Your Majesty. Oh, shit. Shocked me. Good evening, Your Majesties, and thank you for gracing us with your presence this evening, and thank you for allowing me to address you. I was actually going to say something along the lines of that, what that woman just said, but it's already been done, and I don't think I need to really be just overly obnoxious. But I think that sometimes points need to be made, right? And I'm glad that you guys are starting to understand. What I do want to say, though, is that I'm glad that there's a new mayor here. I appreciate what you're doing, Kevin. Thank you. And I guess there's a new city attorney coming as well. But I really think that the police chief either needs to do the right thing and resign and walk away, or that you all need to do something. Mistakes happen. We all make them. And I think that what happened to Rebecca came out of, I would even say, I'm even going to dare to say maybe even innocent ignorance. People not necessarily meaning to do something wrong. I don't know, it's pretty over the top. But mistakes happen. But when the police chief doubled down and tripled down on that mistake and encouraged his other officers to continue to do the same thing that was done before, and encouraged his officers to pat the cop on the back who violated someone's constitutional rights, again, mistakes happen. But man, when you double and triple down on it like that, chief, he's got to go. And I think that you should do the right thing for your community and just leave on your own.
That's all I have. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
And this is the final registered speaker, Mayor Alex Christ.
Thank you. 175th and Waddell, Duffy's District. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, our republic is strong and democracy lives on. We have come to a new direction in our country. And listening to the speech given by our new Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, I am hopeful for our success. If you haven't heard it, I hope that you catch it because it was an excellent speech at the State Department. And Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, I don't envy the decisions that you will have to make, but I know they will be made with wisdom and discernment. And I'll be praying for you because this year's going to be different. I definitely know that, especially from Mayor's speech from last time. I also want to acknowledge the brave men and women of the city staff who will be taking calls and messages such as traffic is important, education is important, but to me, Taco Tuesday is going to be important. Stick that in the budget. But Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, I'm glad we have a republic. I'm glad that people like us, citizens, and you saw our veterans here. I care very much for them because they fought so hard for us. And we have people from the fire department, from education, veterans that will represent us, and I do trust in you. I do trust that our republic will stay strong. And I echo the speech from our president. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our golden age has begun. And I believe that for our city as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Council members, do you have any other business or future agenda items you want to talk about?
I think I got one. And you kind of gave me this idea, so I got to share the credit with you. But you know, we talk a lot about traffic and Surprise, and rightfully so. We talk about Northwest Surprise because there are some concerns there, and also in West Surprise. But you know, Bell Road is quite the road, and it's only, you know, we've done a lot to mitigate some of the traffic concerns on Bell Road, but as City Center builds out, it would be nice to have like a work session or just like a review, whether it's part of our strategic plan or if it's a work session by itself on Bell Road and just some traffic improvements we could do. The ones that come to mind are specifically that I'm thinking of, and it could be more than this, but extending or adding left-hand turn lanes, specifically at Bell and Litchfield, that oftentimes gets backed up so far that you know, if you're trying to go straight and you're in the left lane, you can get stuck 2-3 lights. We've done a lot of things. The city has done a lot. Blinking yellow lights, adding a left-hand turn lane at Reams, but it would just be nice to take a look at Bell Road and just to work with Eric and maybe take a look at what improvements we could do, because one of my biggest gripes with government is that, and not us, of course, because, right? No, I'm just kidding. But one of my biggest gripes with government in general is that we're too reactive, right? We wait till something becomes an issue and then we have to like play catch up. So with this thing, you know, we see City Center building out, would like to see us be proactive and take a look at Bell Road. So.
Oh, thank you for that. And as we move towards the work sessions or the strategic planning sessions that we're going.
Okay, y'all, I think the public comments is over. I saw somebody leave a comment. Is Mata locked up in jail? He did have a court date today because the prosecutors filed a motion to revoke his bond from when him and CJ were at the county commissioners meeting, and they arrested him in the hallway for saying fuck or whatever. And they're saying that he violated his bond by doing that. I know he had raised $2,500 to get a lawyer because CJ had to recuse himself because CJ filed a lawsuit based on the same thing that happened in the hallway. and that would be a conflict of interest. And I have been trying to get a hold of Mata all day long to find out what the outcome of that was. I have not been able to get a hold of him at all. And so to me, that was kind of sent up some red flags. I was thinking maybe he was arrested. I called CJ, and CJ said, no, he's fine. He's good. I didn't call CJ. CJ sent me a text saying he's good. So that's all the only news I have. I haven't personally talked to Mata, and CJ just texted he's good. So I don't know. I don't know why I haven't been able to get a hold of Mata. But what do you guys think about the public comments? There was a lot of people that didn't. Let's see. Michelle's Mobile Media spoke. I didn't see Tucson Toe Tag. I didn't see him speak. I didn't see West Side Accountability speak. I didn't see Tucson Police Suck speak. James Freeman did. Grande Johnson. I did not see Tempe Against Police Violence. And that last guy, I'm not sure who the last guy was. I didn't see Joe Cool speak. So James and his friends are already left. So that's pretty much it, man. I thought we were going to have more people speaking. But, you know, that public speaking, man, it's intimidating. It is intimidating. They didn't get on the sign up. Yeah, I know Fort Worth. Let me read that. In Fort Worth, it is really, really difficult to get signed up. Like after Kruger slammed Carolina, I showed up at the city council meeting. I wanted to sign a piece of paper and sign up. And they said, no, you had to go on this website. It's a Fort Worth website. And you have to sign up through that website. But when you get on the website, they make it very difficult to find where you got to go. It's not labeled properly. I mean, it's just a game, man. And I didn't get signed up through the website in time, so I was not able to speak. They make it very difficult. Like the one time that I did get signed up to speak in Fort Worth, Carolina had to sign up for me. So, yeah. But I saw Freeman before I went live. He was in the hallway, and he signed a piece of paper, Grande Johnson. He didn't give his address. He handed the guy the piece of paper, and they called his name. So this meeting was not that difficult to sign up for. Yes, they kicked me out that day. Yes, Brandon Mitchell. Very true. I was very disappointed that I didn't get to speak. Yeah, what do y'all think about that John Felix comment the other day? That was probably, I don't know if I'd say the best public comment I've ever seen, but it was in the top 5. And I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that did better than John Felix did. I mean, that was freaking awesome, man. Yeah, true. Any more comments? And we're going to end this. I'm almost at 2 hours here. He ripped them up. Well, let's listen to this guy is still running his freaking dick sucker over here. Oh, he just got
Judd.
Nothing to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. I just have a few things to talk about. It's been about 3 weeks I've been mayor now, and so we've done a lot of things. We had the.
All right. If you guys, this is Surprise TV. If anybody wants to go and watch the rest of this, I'm going to wrap this up. I think Freeman's live again. Okay, go back to Freeman's live. Is he live? I don't want to just jack his live stream, man. I tell you what, when I end this, I'm going to watch it, though. So y'all go over, everybody that's in this chat, go over and watch his and tell them I sent you. But I'm going to end this. Appreciate everybody joining me. Later. I didn't, look, did anybody give any super chats or anything? Because if anybody did, StreamYard's not showing it to me. Y'all give me some feedback. Did anybody buy any memberships or super chats or anything? Because if somebody did, then I have this set up wrong and it's not showing me. So if anybody did do that and I didn't apologize, it's because I'm not seeing it. And now look, their live stream is buffering. Brandon Mitchell said, no, F these people. I didn't think I saw anything. There's the link right there. Freeman's live. All right, like I said, I didn't see anything. If anybody donated or bought a membership, I appreciate it. But the StreamYard did not show me that. All right, good night, y'all. That's the end of the meeting. Peace. Later.